Welcome to Primos for Life, the wrestling podcast made for the fans, by the fans. As always, I'm Eddie, El Niño Baque. We got Ariel, the Ecuadorian Dream Bisueta, and we are your self-proclaimed, undisputed co-host tag team champions of the world. Tonight's episode, we jump into the Elimination Chamber. But we are not alone, y'all, because for the first time ever, we are being joined by lifelong fan of the podcast, Rich. And we discuss what made him a huge wrestling fan. We jump into all 4 matches of the Elimination Chamber PLE, and then ultimately leading to the unforeseen John Cena heel turn. So, sit back, grab a snack, and let's get it on. Primo!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What is going on?
Primo, I just got one thing to say to you.
What's that?
Funk you, man. Like, what? Like, what are we? Oh, okay. So obviously we're going to talk about the Elimination Chamber today. Right.
Yeah, of course.
But we have a little surprise today. We have actually a lifelong fan of the podcast joining us, all 2 months of it.
All
right?
2 months. Hey, all 8 episodes.
All 8 episodes.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
And he wanted to come on to, just chime in and chat with us, so I figured, hey, we are by the fans, for the fans. Why not? Right. Let's get that going.
Sure thing. Let's do it.
All right. So ladies and gentlemen, we would like to introduce Rich. There he is.
Lifelong fan.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on, Rich? How you doing, man?
2 months. I'm going good.
Hey, listen.
How's it going?
I thank you. I wholeheartedly and sincerely want to thank you for listening for all 2 months. In all honesty, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate the love there, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I like to, branch out, podcasts, whether they're well known to, just starting up, and I always like to hear other people's views on what I like. So.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you and welcome for opening up a little time and spending some time with us to just sit back, shoot the stuff, and talk about a very, very entertaining PLE.
Yeah, for real. But wait, Rich, lifelong fan. Real quick, before we even discuss the incredible night that was the Elimination Chamber, we want us to actually give you the opportunity to go ahead and tell us, Rich, the moment in your life where wrestling, found its place in your heart, like that moment that you saw and you watched and you were like, oh man, I'm hooked. I got to watch. And being that you're a lifelong fan, obviously, mine is 97 Bad Blood, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, debut of Kane. It's Kane. And then
that's gotta be Kane. That's gotta be Kane.
It's gotta be, and then obviously, Ariel's story as well. So similar to that response, please, the floor is yours. Give us that moment in your life.
Well, first, that's a really great intro. They introduced, and then some psychopaths who breaks in the cage, and Tombstone's his half brother who he hasn't seen because they burned down this house, and
and they thought he was dead. Yeah,
exactly. What a way to introduce yourself. Oh, it's just wrestling, But for me, it was WCW, fall of '96, Hogan and Savage, man. Savage was my guy. Randy Savage, he was the first one. I always gravitated to.
Yeah.
Just seeing the whole thing between him, Miss Elizabeth, and Hogan, and him, and Savage is trying to get his girl back. Hogan,
I mean,
Hogan in the NWO, it's dude, what are you doing, man? Let her rock, But, it was interesting because it was nothing that I've seen on TV at that point. And this is as a kid, you see Power Rangers, you see all these other shows. Yeah, you see, some of these human beings where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, this looks legit. This is interesting, and I want to keep watching. And
And here we
20
are.
plus years later, here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
I think I'm just more surprised that it was a WCW episode. I thought we were like WWE, WWF guys for life, and wow, WCW, really?
Well,
listen, some of those other shows, like are standouts, like ECW, like just some of the like they just there's certain moments that just are just standouts. So I understand where Rich is coming from with that, because it's just it's probably being a fan, if I may, for just a moment, probably being a fan of wrestling and everything. And being like, yeah, okay, I like it. But then when having that thing with Savage and Hogan again, that's kind of like, I think maybe rekindled something for it. From, like I said, if I'm just gauging what I got as a response.
No, and not for nothing, Eddie, but like, let's not forget WCW at that time, like they were beating down WWE, like the storylines and all that stuff. Like Shawn Michaels, like, to me, he's the GOAT, and that was around his reign of champion. But like WCW with the whole NWO angle, that was just white hot. So
yeah. All right, man. Well, awesome, bro. We really appreciate that. That intro. And now let's just jump into the Elimination Chambers.
Do you want to go order of importance and start with like the tag match? Yeah.
yeah. We can do that. So
let's go order. Not of importance, but of like, So tag match.
Right.
Yeah. Like, great. Well, ladies, thank you for showing up. Thank you for putting on a match. Trish, you looked fantastic. Fantastic. Tiffy did her thing. Nia Jax ate the pin, which I was not expecting, because you and I both said Candice would probably, I said Candice would probably end up beating the pin on this one, with some kind of move or nonsense happening. So that being said, I'll let you go about what you have to say about the tag match.
Well, I mean, it's funny because even in our last episode, in the preview, we both kind of brushed it off. We knew that this was like a hometown hero kind of feel for the night. You have to have that, hometown feel. And you got to have that feel good moment. But obviously you need that feel good moment for what transpired later on in the night. But that makes sense. Like, okay, that was like a throwaway. It was like, okay, cute. Thank you. Matching outfits. Yay, Canada.
Matching outfits.
Rich, what'd you think of the tag?
Yeah, what'd you think, Rich?
I mean, like you guys said, it was just it was the popcorn match. It was unfortunately, it was a bad term to say, but it was a bathroom match. And it's just that is Trish's hometown. It is the last time, well, suppose the last time, because we all know that she came back at, if I remember correctly, SummerSlam in Charlotte, and it's her homecoming of sorts. But like, I'm very surprised that they didn't try to advance the whole Tiffany and Charlotte feud. This could have been a good opportunity, maybe like a run-in of sorts. But you know what? In a way, it's like, all right, let's give Tiffany a win on pay-per-view. If I remember correctly, I know she's had a match since being champion on a PLE. So it's one of those where it's like, we give the hometown legend her, her flowers, while at the same time give Tiffany, a notch on her belt as winning a PLE match.
That's fair. Yeah.
Other than that, it was like,
Well, I think there's still plenty of time for them to work the match for Charlotte and Tiffany. You still have 7 weeks, whatever, So I think they probably didn't want to distract from the fact that this was for Trish Stratus, that moment of giving her a flower. So they were like, you know what, we can build this starting on Raw Monday and just give Trish her thing, be done with it, and just kind of roll on.
Serious question, guys.
What's that?
How do you feel about this Tiffany and Charlotte deal?
Go ahead, Aaron. You go first, because I'll tell you my feelings.
Well, I mean, everyone knew it was going to happen the minute she was coming back at the Rumble. I think it's just kind of annoying because, she immediately got it. She immediately got it. First match back, she's already back in the main event at WrestleMania. Like, so not a huge fan of that when, I think there's like Io Sky's been performing crazy for the past year. I'm a huge fan of Io Sky. And it's a shame that unless they can work something out with this Rhea Ripley, because they keep saying it's Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and versus now, the winner of the women's chamber match. So I think it was just kind of quickly thrown together, and it's just a lot of this is all based on name. And I get it. Charlotte's also been in the game long enough where she is starting to get up there and the body doesn't heal like it used to and stuff. So I get it, but just they could have did something better, especially because you want to start to build Tiffy, I think, a little bit and start to give her more of a character driven run. But this is going to put eyes on the women's match at main event, and that's what Charlotte's going to do, is put eyes on the match at WrestleMania. Sorry.
Yeah. And then for me, I feel like it sounded nice on paper. Like before we spoke about it, before the Rumble and like speculation and all that stuff, it sounded like a good idea. But once she did come back, I was just like, oh, like I really didn't miss you. You know what I mean? So it was one of those situations where it's like, oh yeah, look good, from afar. But once we finally got here, I was like, I could kind of live without this match. Like I would want like a twist or something where, someone felt left out and you threw like a third person in there, like just to make it like a triple threat and make it a little bit more interesting. I don't know, but I'm not really crazy about it. I'm like, it is what it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
I started to feel, the same thing where it's like kind of like a been there, done that, and I hope this doesn't go of the WrestleMania 35 where she beat Rhea Ripley for the NXT title, an up and comer, against Charlotte,
Right.
And we all know like the talks about how like she politics away and whatnot, and also like she is Ric Flair's daughter, so she has some of these advantages where she can just, like Ariel said, first match in, and she wins the Rumble. So, but we'll see how it goes down.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly hope they take this opportunity to allow Tiffany to win, like, Charlotte put her over. Like that, I think would be the ultimate prize in regards to that situation. Now, if Charlotte comes out winning, I don't think I'd be too happy about that,
No, that's unfortunate. It's going to be unfortunate if it does happen, which is totally a possibility.
Yeah.
Given who you're talking about in terms of Charlotte Flair.
Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Look, Rich trying to be a third host on the show, man. Look at that.
Yeah,
like, hey, let me ask you guys a question.
I'm just a guest. That's all.
All right. All right.
Oh, so now wait, Eddie, you and I both picked this match correctly.
Yes, we did.
So we're at one. We're knotted up right now, all tied up.
We're all tied up. So
match 2.
Okay, so then since we're going out of order, you just want to knock out
let's knock out KO and Sami Zayn.
Yeah. All right, so I'll give you my
unsanctioned
match with the ref wearing his street clothes. Like that was awesome.
Black T-shirt and shit. I was like, they don't want him to get blood on nothing. They don't want to get blood on nothing. Someone's bleeding. No. Someone's bleeding.
So on the last episode, I definitely stand corrected. I said I didn't want to see it. I felt like we saw it so many times. The KO Sami Zayn feud over and over through the indies, through NXT, through the main roster, and finally getting up to here. But you know what? I loved it. It was so good.
I told you they were going to put on a hell of a show. I said these two are going to put on a show. I said I don't want to see it, but it's going to be a great match because these guys just do that. Like it's what they do.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. They put on a fantastic match. Each part of the segment just got like more gruesome and gruesome. The fact that they pulled out that barbed wire chair.
Oh, that was good.
All those. Yeah. No, it was. I'm glad they did it. I'm happy with it, and I believe I was right in my pick. I said KO would win.
You were. I said Sami Zayn usually fights better uphill, but they didn't. But now the one thing I did say after you said that, I said, well, this might be the best way to now take Sami Zayn out the picture for a little while.
Yeah.
And then bring something back for another time. But that might not be the case. But before we get into that, Rich, how did you feel about this match?
10 out of 10.
Nice.
10 out of 10, pure
Nice.
brutality.
Nice.
It's what everyone wanted and then some.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I like just
The chef's
great.
kiss. The chef's kiss.
Yes, chef's kiss, chef's kiss. Love the callback from NXT from when Kevin Owens turned on Sammy the first time in WWE, universe. When these two get together, it's always magical. It's always great. You're bound to get a great match. Whether it's a brawl, whether it's a technical match, whether it's just a shoot style, they always know how to bring out the best in each other. I will say, Kevin Owens, man, he's been on a run the last few years.
Yep.
And I was kind of like nervous, him doing the heel turn after being very, very successful as a face. But he is at his best when he is the paranoid, loose cannon, screws loose in the head, and he displayed it last night. Every little detail, the facial expressions that he gave.
Yeah, he had that like blinding look on his face. He was just like, oh, and he didn't see it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's in blinding rage or whatever. It's like, yeah, man, yeah.
Yeah, like he plays up to it, and you would have never thought that these two guys are best friends, because of how great Kevin is. And there can be said about Sammy other than, he's one of the greatest performers of our time.
Yeah.
So,
great work.
10 out of 10. And, we'll see what comes after that, because while one is probably going to be in the men for a while, the other one is starting something up, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to go into it and throw it in, please go ahead, man.
Listen, Randy Orton. Like, what? How did you guys react when Randy Orton?
I popped up. I popped up. I sat up. I was sitting there watching with my son, and he was playing Legos or whatever, and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Whoa, Dad, what happened?" And I was like, "Randy Orton's back. Randy Orton's back." And then he just walked out, head down, like a bad motherfucker. I was like, yes. So that's me.
I felt like I popped as well last night because I was watching it live and I was like, no way. And he looks like he's gotten a little bit more shape because he was a little heftier before he left.
Yeah, he looked,
so he's definitely,
you could see the six pack there. Like, he looked.
But honestly, until this moment, I actually forgot that he returned because everything else that transpired, I'm just like, oh, that's right, man. He came back last night.
But that's how you know how. That's how you know how great of a match that was, because you forgot the very end. Yeah. So
no, it was solid. Very happy with the outcome. Very happy with the surprise. Return. One of many surprises of the night.
Well,
so
I was gonna say, I mean, the first match was the only match that didn't have anything, and this particular match had the return of Randy Orton.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first one had a return too.
Well, no, that we're talking about. I'm saying the first one that we talked about, which was a tag match.
The tag match. Nothing happened there.
Right. I'm saying this one, right, and then the other.
That was ice cream and lollipops. That's what that match was.
I need a beer. I'll be back.
It's funny.
I got to pay $17 for 2 Bud Lights each, and I'll be back.
But it's funny that Rich said that that's a bathroom break match because I'm trying to think. I was like, are they really bathroom breaks match? And then what it got me thinking of WrestleMania at MetLife in Jersey. I think I went to the bathroom in between during Samoa Joe's and Rey Mysterio's match. I think that was the moment I ran to the bathroom.
That was
so I was like, oh man.
And you being such a Mysterio guy, that was an odd look to me. I was like, he's going now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was so quick too. That match was like we were in the bathroom longer.
Squash match. That was definitely a squash match.
Yeah. So that's crazy that you used that term and it like instantly teleported me to that moment. That's crazy. All right. So we got that covers 2 of the matches of the evening. I'm up 2, right? Because it's 2-1. No.
Yes, you got me by 1 because I took Sami Zayn. So you got me by 1. Yeah. So you're perfect 2-0, and I'm fucking 1-1.
All right, and then now we'll start with the opening match of the evening,
the women's elimination chamber match,
the women's elimination chamber, and Oh man.
I thoroughly enjoyed this match.
Yes, so did I. What a way to open up the night.
I was very happy with this match. I was like, man, this is just good. Like, this is just good.
Well, it just I think again, and we keep tooting his horn every single time, but this is just a true testament of what Triple H is doing, man. I mean,
Yeah.
this level of storytelling and you know what? And I was actually thinking about this before we were going to connect today. At first, I was like, man, why are we only getting 4 matches every PLE? But it's like, no, but it's good. It's good because now you're giving everybody time to do what they need to do and take the people watching both at the arena and on in the world.
Yeah.
It's setting up everything that they need to set up to push these stories going forward. And no, it's fantastic. That entire women's elimination chamber was beautifully told, and it was just like, wow, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? Because let's talk about it, because then I'll tell you my thoughts, because I don't know. I don't know. That's where I'm at. I don't know.
You don't know. Just don't know.
Yeah.
Well, Rich, what did you in terms of the opening match? Like, what was your thoughts overall on?
If people didn't think that Liv Morgan wasn't the top player before last night, that Elimination Chamber match solidifies her as one of the top women in all WWE.
That's a
off
solid
to her.
That's a very solid point.
She knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, no, but Liv knocked it out of the park weeks ago when that disqualification happened on Raw, and the level of her acting skills, right? Where she's like looking at the ref like, what? No, it wasn't. And then it's like, winner is, Liv Morgan. And she's like, like looking like a psychopath, like that crazy smile. I was like, yo, she's crazy.
She's good.
She's good.
She's a Jersey girl, man. They crazy.
Yeah.
They crazy. I can tell you firsthand. They crazy.
They crazy.
But
trust me.
Yeah, no, it's like, and back to what you're saying, she has been building up to this moment, whether it's from 2 weeks ago with the qualifying match, and then last week with the tag team match, which was one of the best women's tag team matches I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Last night, yeah, she didn't walk away, as a winner, but in terms of like the MVP for the Elimination Chamber for women, she gets that.
Well, absolutely, because that she did a lot of work, because a match that should have consisted with 6 participants only started with 5, which means those 5 had to go even harder, stronger, and longer, because they were down a person to start. Just because, and now if I may break the thing here, is as the ring is filled with Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, Bailey, and Roxanne Perez. It's Liv Morgan and Naomi in the ring. The bell rings. It's about to go down. And bang, Jade Cargill's music hits. And Liv looks like she has seen a ghost.
She sold it.
And here now, mind you, Bianca and Naomi, they got their whole little white outfits on, also like bright silver outfits. And then here comes Jade Cargill in black. Just all black, and she means fucking business. Stretch her ass down to the ring, goes in. You think she's gonna sit there and walk to Liv Morgan and hit her. Liv kind of backs up, and she walks over and starts beating down Naomi, fueling the speculation, and something that Eddie and I have been saying for a while. It's who is it gonna? Which one of the two is it gonna be? Is it gonna be Bianca or Naomi? It's gonna be Bianca or Naomi. It's gonna be one of the two. We just have to figure out which one it was.
I still think it's Bianca.
Came in, and I mean, they might be able to work that out. You never know. But came in, and Jade Cargill just dismantled her. So much so that she took the cage and slammed her head into it. Slammed it shut into her head.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, the next shot. And then they had to bring out the ambulance. So therefore, starting with only 5 people, which going back to what we were saying before, instead of the 6 you had, Liv Morgan once again just kind of, I mean, hammer this point home, I guess, now, did a lot of heavy lifting, being that she was one of the final two left in that match, which was crazy to me because, Eddie, you and I had this conversation, and Rich, I'm assuming you being the lifelong fan, you've listened to the All 8 episodes, that we were like, you can't do Liv and Rhea again, really. So to see it go down to this final two, it was kind of like, oh man, like, and that's when I kind of looked at it. I was like, ooh, my pick is looking better.
Yeah. You're definitely right on this one for sure.
But Jade Cargill, let's not gloss over that. Before we get to the winner, let's get to the return of Jade Cargill, because that happened early on, and that was like the opening of the PLE. Yeah. Was get everyone in the ring, and I like the small point of waiting for the bell to ring. And then she comes out, because then Naomi is technically gone and eliminated from the match. Now you're left with 5. Sorry.
Well, so actually, it's funny that you bring that up, because that kind of like ticked me off, because I was like, wait a minute, the bell rang. Why is this door still open? Like, that was a long ramp. She had they left it open for her. I mean, obviously that was the plan.
Man. Like, they were such in awe of the fact that Jade Cargill had returned. They couldn't get the gate closed fast enough, dude. Come on, man.
The refs were like, no way. They just forgot to do their job.
Is this what I think it is?
Nah, man.
Can you blame them though? Because
no, not at
all. She's amazing. She is, ever since she stepped in against WWE, like, we all seen her work at AEW, as the CBS champion, and she was magnificent there. And her WWE, it's like the way that they've been presenting her, it's like they make her out to be a big deal every step of the way. So like her return, like you guys were saying, the referee's like, oh, it's Jade. You get starstruck, I guess, and it's like, oops, doors open.
Yeah, see, I'm telling you. But yeah, so go ahead, Eddie. What are you thinking?
No, man. Okay, so the Naomi head bashing on the gate, that was really horrifying. I was scared. Like, I legitimately was concerned, because it looked too real. I mean, in rewatching it, you see that
you see the hands go
stopped.
up.
Yeah,
I watched it one time, and because I noticed it, because I said, "Oh, damn!" But I said, like, the hands went up. Like, you can see them come right there.
Yeah. No, like it. If you rewatch it, it's almost like there was like a anti-lock or like a lock thing for the door to stop. You know what I mean? Like, when you watch it a second time, but it was just at the moment so quickly that you were just like, "Oh man!" Like, what just happened? Like, oh my, is she dead? You know what I mean? Like, real.
She got her hands just up in time to block the thing. If there wasn't a device or a mechanism, like you said, total possibility. But because that first one, because when in looking at the replay that they showed, that's when you can see kind of, because it's like comes up kind of slow, just like stops right there.
But overall, I think all the ladies did a fantastic job. Everybody did so good with their moves, with their finishings. Like a lot of spots. The one that really stuck out to me was Alexa Bliss's what is that, twist of fate, or whatever? What's her turnbuckle move? What's that one called?
The sidewalk. Or not the sidewalk. The spinning.
Twist of Bliss.
Yeah,
Twist of Bliss.
Like,
Twist of Bliss.
That one was solid. The Bianca hair whip on
the hair lashing was legendary, bro.
Yeah, that sound like, and you see the mark on her like midsection afterwards. Like, I was
she's gonna be wearing that for a minute, because you heard that echo through the stadium. That was like a whap.
Yeah. No, like, the women, fantastic job. And then obviously the finish was awesome too. I'm happy. I'm happy that you were right on this, because even though Alexa made it towards the end, closer to the end than the other girls, I'm happy that Bianca was the one that got the win, for sure. It makes sense. So I like it.
Well, you can definitely do something with her and Rhea Ripley, like hardcore.
The money match right there. Everyone's been talking. It's just they play into the main roster. It's like, when are they gonna face each other? And I guess the stage is set if she beats Io Sky.
If she beats Io, right?
They're like everyone mentioned, they've been throwing her name around. It's like,
well, she also came out at the end when Rhea came out. she also came out as well. Like,
Yeah,
don't forget me.
I was like, that's awesome. I was like, yeah, man, awesome. Yeah, don't let him forget you, girl. Because if some kind of crazy shenanigans happens, you're looking at a triple threat match at WrestleMania.
I'm thinking,
and that would be, as much as sometimes I don't like triple threat matches because it just seems like you're trying to do too much. Bianca, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky at the ring at the same time in a triple threat match would be insanely entertaining.
Absolutely. That's
insanely entertaining.
That's a Kurt Angle, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio like dynamic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's you got the big, you tall, the athletic. They're all athletic. You know what I mean? Like, there's that would be super entertaining to watch for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick before we get past it, I want to say in this women's chamber match, shout out to Roxanne Perez. I thought I thought she had a hell of a match. I thought she had some great spots early on, and she kept her rhythm. She moved quick. I say shout out to Roxanne Perez. I'm quite a fan of hers. I just want to say that. But I'm also 100% glad that I was right with my pick of Bianca Belair. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, Rich, set us up for the final and the main event of the evening. Who are the players? Just, get us in there. What happens?
McIntyre, Cena, Rollins, Punk, Paul, Priest, which are the main players right now in the WWE. Who's of who in terms of legends and current mainstays. And honestly, I originally thought coming in, I thought that the way they were trying to portray Drew McIntyre the last few weeks, I thought that he was going to be the dark horse. I thought that he was going to win somehow, some way, for whatever reason. They first making lots to be the bloodline hunter, and then there's it's a storyline wasn't trying to fit in, and maybe this would be like the perfect spot for him, especially because he's gone crazy and the whole storyline with Punk the year before. And then he gets eliminated first.
Yeah. Actually, really quick side note, because before this match, obviously SmackDown was the night before, and all of the main players came out and had a segment together, and Cena's music hits, and I genuinely popped on SmackDown. I was like, no way, he's here. And it was Logan Paul that came out, and I was frustrated. And my wife was laughing at me. My wife was like, what? I'm just like, I'm so bad. But then going back to the chamber, Drew gets knocked out first, right?
By Damian Priest. Because once again, continuing the Damian Priest is now screwing over Drew McIntyre at every chance he gets.
Yeah.
In terms of tossing him out at the Rumble. Now doing this. This is going to set up for your Priest McIntyre WrestleMania match. Great. I love it.
Yeah.
These two guys are great. I'll take it.
Yeah. The big notable moment for me, though, was when Punk is hanging his head off the ropes close to the door, and Rollins comes in with a stomp on his face and then gets eliminated that way. I just want to call that out because that looked rough. That looked really brutal. I thought Punk was done. I mean, he was done, but
he might have put a little force on some of that.
A little extra sauce. A little extra sauce. A little bit.
Yeah.
But before that, one thing that I really enjoyed was the callback between Cena and Punk. The fact that they saw each other, they acknowledged that, hey, been through some wars.
That when they hugged it out for a second there, and they're like, all right, we're gonna beat each other down in 3 seconds, but respect.
Yeah, that was that was great. Because I was like, when he's back, Sutter Slap, all these battles and whatnot, and then they went at it. But that stomp was that's a little rough. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
A little rough to watch, but
I my bad, Rich. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
because you no because
Well,
you brought up something that I want to touch on, but finish your thought and I'll get on it. Go ahead, go ahead.
honestly, like overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Elimination Chamber match. The one difference that I noticed when watching that match compared to the Women's Elimination Chamber match, this one actually helped plant the siege for matches for Mania as you watched it.
Hmm.
Whereas the Women's Elimination Chamber, it's like everything is still up in the air. And I don't know if that's by design. I don't know if, they don't know what they're doing, but that was one thing that caught my eye. And I do wonder, like, how are they going to move along with everyone that was in the Elimination Chamber from the women's side?
Right. Well, I mean, Naomi's going to be the Jade Cargill thing, probably. Bianca's going to be there, and then you're going to have to figure something to do with Liv and Bliss and stuff. Because, well, Liv is tag champ, so, but yeah, everything else is just kind of like the other two are like, all right, well, we kind of put them in there and whatever. And
Well, I mean, on that thought first, and then I'll go back to the other thing that I was going to touch on. We could sit here and think we know what's going to happen, but clearly after this PLE, we just don't know. We're not going to know. We could think all we want, but at the end of the day, they're gonna switch things up on us, and which makes it exciting. Which Ariel spoke on previously on the previous episode. Um he makes a valid point. It's like, this is why we watch. This is why it's still so entertaining to us. This is why we tune in. I mean, don't get me wrong, and I've said this before, and I'm not an AEW hater. When I go on and watch some of the segments and stuff, I'm just like, what am I watching? Where is this leading up to? What is the purpose of this? You know what I mean? And over here, I don't feel that. Over here, I'm just like, okay, this is leading to something. Okay, this might be something that they can touch on or use on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. And even if there is no story at the moment, they definitely find ways to make it count or make it make sense for something later. You know what I mean? So I think this is why the product is just so phenomenal at this point, because just that anticipation of like what could possibly happen next, because obviously we didn't expect the outcome. I mean, my pick was John Cena to win, and he won.
Right.
But what happened afterwards?
The Cena thing, I didn't see the Cena win coming. I said, I was like, no, they're not. They'll probably find a different way to do this. Based on the fact of what happened later, I went in foolishly thinking this was Vince McMahon's WWE. He would have never let what happened happen if he was still in charge.
What did happen, Ariel? Please go ahead.
I mean, after so many years of my man John Cena just being company guy and the face and just the and all the stuff he does, shout to him, man, for all the Make-A-Wish things that he does. He's the number one person doing Make-A-Wish things, everything that he does, stuff like that. He finally, because Triple H just is like, you know what, man, I'm just doing it all. He turned heel and joined the final boss, and is now, I guess, the corporate doctor of thugonomics. Maybe. I don't know. Kind of.
I just and Rich, we'll definitely want to get your thoughts on this, but like I was heartbroken. I really.
Oh no! What are you talking about? This was the fucking best, man. Are you crazy?
And I'll tell you why I was heartbroken. I was
heartbroken.
Because I really wanted the Cody heel turn. That's what I really wanted.
No, you can't do that now.
I know.
It's too early.
I know, but I really wanted it because I feel like, I don't know. I just felt like maybe the story or the build up after Mania for Cody, I don't know. My imagination ran wild with it, and I was like, yes, like Cody could be that guy. No. But then to sit here and have Cody come out, then Cena's still in the ring, Rock comes out, with Travis Scott, which that dude is.
I mean,
in my opinion, should even be allowed.
I'm getting a little like with Travis Scott. And
Yeah,
stop
me
trying to
too.
light a fucking joint or a blunt every time you're in the ring.
Not only that,
We get it. You like to smoke.
bro. Not only that, but did you see the way he hit Cody in the face? That was a legit punch. Like this guy needs to like take a step back.
After that shot, I thought to myself, I was like, I wonder if he was in the moment and did it, and Cody's gonna like beat the fuck out of him later on, or like what's going on? Because I think he might have been so in the moment, and he was just high, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna throw a punch," and he doesn't know how to throw a proper punch and pull back on it, unless he just like whap. I was
like I saw the funniest meme that was like, "Yo, ain't nobody tell Travis Scott that wrestling's fake." Like, why you gotta punch Cody like that? And then, you know, the F-bomb drop, you know, like to The Rock. Yeah, like that was cool.
This is not your mom. This is not TV-13 anymore, man.
It really isn't.
Nope.
And then The Rock, just the. And then Cena's face just shuts down to this lifeless, soulless being.
Cena's face did that before Rock even did that. Because as soon as he hugged him, Cena's face went lifeless. And I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. And then they cut to Rock, and then Rock does the thing. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, really, oh, shit. And, and Eddie's heart just shattered into a million little pieces.
Yeah.
He dropped his never give up towel. He ripped off his red never give up shirt.
Yeah, man. I'm tearing up thinking about it right now, bro.
Light blue, you can't see me hat. It's like, all in a box.
I was like, never give up, man. Never give up. I gave up. I give up now. I don't know where this leads. I don't know. Well, anyway, point is, I screamed. I screamed. I was like, no. I was screaming on my television. I was like, no. Like, I really. But okay, enough about my feelings. Rich, please. What did you think of this segment?
Oh, it's funny that you just said a couple minutes ago that, you know, we just never know what's gonna happen. Because never did I think in a million years that Cena was gonna turn. And they finally did it in the most amazing way. And I was watching yesterday with my girlfriend and my son, and when the turn took place, my jaw dropped throughout the whole moment. I did not see that happen. I'd like to think of myself as a smart wrestling fan. Yeah, I felt dumb.
Yeah, we don't know nothing.
Yeah. No, I didn't see it, you know. I mean, props to Cena. That's number one, because like Ariel said, when his face just went lifeless, it was like you thought that what The Rock said about asking for Cody Rhodes' soul was a little unnerving. That face drop was like, you know, that was perfectly played. You know, Travis Scott. I don't know if he was trying to smoke. He was trying to sage the ring. Maybe he was like,
why was he saging everything, bro?
Yeah, like maybe he was foreshadowing something. You know,
awesome.
It is funny because, you know, I remember hearing some complaints about the poster being changed from all the wrestlers to The Rock, Cena, and Travis Scott for the PLE. And lo and behold, the last three figures that you see,
the last image is those three guys.
Those three guys, you know, and it's just perfectly executed, well played. Like that might be promo of the year. I don't have to watch any more promos now. That was the greatest setup I've seen in quite a while. And I can go as far as to say that might be the biggest heel turn since Hogan turned on Savage, and might surpass that too. Like, when you think about this guy is on his last run, and he's a top Make-A-Wish guy. He just granted a wish that same night. And so throw it all away.
Oh, that kid's pissed. It wasn't my wish. That kid's like, screw you, John.
Wasn't my
You know?
wish.
It's like,
it was Eddie's.
Bro, I think I actually let's rewind back really quickly. I think the only thing that my only note or my only beef with John Cena was when during the match I felt like he was overacting. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what he's cut. You know, like he was doing a lot of that. I was like, all right, bro, we get it. You're in Hollywood. Like, we get it. You're an actor.
When you star with the Diesel in Fast and Furious movies, I mean, you're bound to pick up an acting tip or two.
But then, you know, he definitely like saves it with that like lifeless, soulless look that he gave at the end. And yeah, man, it was tough. And I think here's the harder part about the situation. I think, you know, yes, I wanted John to win, but like now what? Now what?
What do you mean now what? This is beautiful, man. This
Where do we go
gorgeous.
from here, man?
Because what this is now is this completely sets. Because now, all right, so Cody loses nothing. All right, because if you turn him heel, you're splitting the universe now. Can't do that shit. Not right. Cody loses nothing. Now, Cena gets to Rich's point before, the turn of the Hogan, whether it be on Savage or whether it be on all of WCW at Bash at the Beach, when he went NWO, and it was just like, oh, the third man, holy cow, this is that. So you get that moment leading up to this WrestleMania. But now you can also build on, okay, Rock is coming back. He's going to make this big thing with Cody. It's going to be a thing. He said, don't disappoint me. He did. That's why he hit him with the watch. He's those brass knuckles. No, man, it's a watch. Like, it's like, so yeah. Like, so you saw the callback to that. So you can build this now. Now you can have Rock on there sparingly, and Cena's his now mouthpiece and workhorse. So I think this plays beautifully because now you can truly build a 7-week Cena heel. Like, oh, people are going to be like just hurt and dumbfounded and, you know, like all over again.
Yeah. And then, you know, I heard this on Chris Van Vliet. So shout outs to him. But when he interviewed Cena like a year ago, Cena said that when he was going to go, there was talks of him and going heel when it was him versus Rock, you know, him versus Rock won the first time. And that he had a whole new music and everything, wardrobe, all that ready to roll, but they didn't do it, obviously. So do you think we get to see that? Do you think we hear the new music?
Go ahead, Rich.
I think so because it's corporate Cena, you know, like when corporate, you know, Triple H.
Eddie is so disgusted right now, Rich. I mean, he's so disgusted right now, dude. He is so angry.
That's what you're gonna hear some weird music come out, and it's gonna be Cena in probably a suit or dressed in all black. You know, maybe he shaves his head and, you know, lets the ball spot take over. Like,
wow. Why you gotta do something like that, man?
That's why I want to see. I want to see corporate Doctor of Thugonomics. That's what I want to see. I want to see him come back with the Yankee jersey, the hat to the back, and just like, all right, I'm here, fucking to be the enforcer. Because Rocky's going to be able to run his mouth. It's Rocky, so it's going to be great. But now having Cena, and the thing is, with the current Cena music, having the heel turn very easy with the John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks. So do people want to hear that for 9 straight weeks, 8 straight weeks, whatever, for the built up of Mania, or do you give them something new and just let them kind of roll with it?
Wow.
Yeah, I know it's pretty disappointing, Eddie, but you know.
Yeah, well, you know,
right now.
I didn't even watch the post show because I was like, "What's the point?" I'm not happy.
That's it. You know what, Rich? I got a feeling I'm gonna need a new co-host after this particular episode. So if you want, bro, I can tape on Sundays and Saturday. Because
I will say this.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No. Because I just wanted to say to the people who aren't able to actually watch the episode and are just listening to it, the amount that Eddie has leaned back into his chair in this conversation alone has topped 50. Like he's been back with his finger over his mouth for a good portion of this conversation because of the annoyance factor. And the other thing is, and as he's doing this every time, the smile has not left mine and Rich's face. We're smiling the entire time because we're reading this.
Yeah, because my pain brings you guys joy. I don't know why.
It's not your pain. It's just your
It's your
anger at
face.
the thing. It's just it's just great. It's just great.
Well,
I will say this though, if people don't understand the magnitude of what took place last night, like how fake this was, all you have to do is go to social media and you have people who haven't seen wrestling in God knows how many years just tweet out about Cena turning. My group chat, who, they're not like lifelong wrestling fans, like they'll joke about it, but they started texting me like, yo, what is going on? Did Cena really turned this and that? And it's like, that's how you know that this is such a like big thing happening where it's like you have casuals, you have non-fans, you have fans from decades ago, just like getting into it because they finally seeing something that never in a million years would have thought possible.
Right. I mean, I'm wondering if because I know sometimes on like Sports Center and stuff, they'll talk about WWE stuff. Like, I wonder if this is something that garnered time on Sports Center. Like, Rock is back, Cody wins, Cena turns. Because I could see something like that on Sports Center. Because that is, because the McAfee has, as he's had on WWE Superstars before. Stephanie has her show now on ESPN Plus or whatever. Stephanie's Places, where she goes and talks to different people, stuff like that. So, I mean, this is that kind of a moment where it could be on Sports Center, and it's just like, no, this is like happening in the world of wrestling.
Yeah,
you don't get so many of those moments, So.
No, not at all. Which is why I'm glad that you brought it back there to just not downplay just how small this pay-per-view, or not pay-per-view, PLE, what is, and in terms of overall, because like I said, to the point before where not since Hogan's Bash at the Beach turn, like do you see something like this?
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, including, and I know we're joking about it at Eddie's expense, but people are gonna remember this. Like this is I mean, this is what it is. Like it's if
this is their Hogan turn.
Yep. If you like wrestling, if you follow wrestling, like if you don't and you know the actor and you understand everything behind it, you're like, wow, yeah, I can't believe that happened. But if you follow it in any way, shape, or form, and you've been there with Cena throughout all the things that he's done, this is monumental what they've done. And I cannot understate enough that Triple H is doing an amazing job. And once again, under Vince's regime, this does not happen. But because it's Hunter and the playbook is open, the playbook is open. Now, I'm not going to say no to anything if it means we could possibly fuel things like this.
Mm-hmm.
And for it being Cena's last run, and we know it's his last run, maybe this was the move. You get the heel turn, and then something happens at like SummerSlam, and then you ride him out as a good guy, and he retires on top. Final match, him and Randy Orton. Final match. Just let it happen.
Well, the only thing that I have to say is overall, though, it was a fantastic PLE, regardless of who feels what, whatever. They are the company. WWE is doing a tremendous job and keeping us guessing, keeping us entertained, and keeping us hooked. Because here's the other thing that to kind of touch on both of y'all's point, just look at the momentum, right? I mean, normally in the past, under the previous regime, I think I would only kind of like the NFL. I would only tune in during playoff season and then watch the Super Bowl. Same thing with wrestling. I got to a point where I was like, okay, it's Royal Rumble WrestleMania season. Let's watch the Rumble to see what happens, and then watch from the Rumble to Mania. But I feel like, look at the level of momentum that we've had from 39 to 40 and now going into 41, I feel like I have legitimately watched 2 years straight of WWE because of how good things have gotten. So the question is, how long does this momentum last? You know,
Cross Siddle's driving. You know,
That's what it is.
in that creative room office. And the amount of great work that's coming out of there is a testament to how much they're putting into making sure that they put on a quality good show, and it has been nothing but quality shows. From the PLEs, the Raws, and SmackDown, they have made every show matter in every capacity.
Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely. No, these going into this, Mania season, like you said, Eddie, this is times to be when a lot of times people tend to pick up back into wrestling is when you get into this Royal Rumble season. But yeah, starting with Cody, his loss to Roman Reigns 2 years ago at Mania and the Rumble where he won whatever. I mean, everything has just been quick hits, but well done. And then the long storylines have still been well done. The McIntyre CM Punk feud that lasted 3 months over a friendship bracelet, stuff like that. Like it's like they've been hitting on all cylinders with a lot of what they've been bringing to the table. Eddie, the answer to your question is unfortunately, hopefully they can keep it going for fucking ever. But but the good thing is like I said, and the other thing is with the abundance of superstars that you have enough to continue evolving storylines and bringing in new faces and changing talent and doing this and that. And, I can't wait to see what they do with Penta now. Like he's probably going to be in something with Kaiser because Kaiser won that triple threat match over him and Pete Dunne. For anyone who hasn't paid attention to Raw, that happened last Raw. But notice Penta lost the match. Penta didn't take the pin.
right.
So they're going to probably do something like that. Like, so there's so much to go. And then with what Rich was saying before about, this chamber match specifically helped set up a couple of things moving forward, because obviously now you have Cena going against Cody. You'll have Priest and McIntyre. Logan Paul is kind of your wild card there, but then you have Punk and Rollins who are going to be, going at it. So you have the pieces and you have the writers, obviously, because the three of us being the fans that we are gushing over this PLE and what they were able to pull off to people who respect and love this industry, which we all do because we're just fans, So it's crazy and it's great, and I hope it goes on for as long as it possibly can. But this is going to be a great build to Mania, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see where Triple H takes us.
So now, final question, and before we wrap up the conversation, right?
Right.
Because as we know, like everything matters. Well, my question to you guys is this: CM Punk's favor at this point, any relevancy at this point, or we're gonna just toss that to the side for later?
Rich, I'll let you go ahead on this one.
I'm gonna put that in the same box as to when The Rock came out in Bad Blood and did the whole 3 thing, where they'll throw it out there. I have no idea, what they're gonna do with it, but somehow, some way, they will tie it in to a storyline. Whether it's for a title shot down the line, whether it's, somewhere like where he teams up with Roman Reigns somehow, or Paul Heyman goes behind someone's back and organizes something. I don't know what the favor is. I can't think of anything that could be the favor, but I have a feeling that somehow, some way, it'll trickle down in the storyline where it'll be brought up again, and it will tie its way into something between Punk and insert wrestler here.
Right. I think I agree with Richard in that aspect. Well, I think we all do in terms of there will be a callback with that. Absolutely. The question is to when and how is that done? It's tough because Reigns doesn't have anything of value to Punk right now. And when you think Paul Heyman owes you a favor, you're going to think Paul Heyman is Roman Reigns' guy. Like, you're not thinking Paul Heyman is going to get me into a title shot that doesn't involve Roman Reigns. Let's just say Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes would have happened. Punk could go, hey, Paul, get me in that match. You owe me a favor. You know, he's not going to do that and say, Paul, get me into a match between Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Can't. Doesn't make any sense. Like, so I'm thinking maybe because you have about a year before I figure the you can't use it anymore. Because anything more than a year, people are gonna be like, what the hell? No, I want no part of that. Like, so you have probably about 8 months left with what this current favor situation is. Maybe SummerSlam, something like that. But I agree with you. It's going to be called in probably somehow to help with a belt somewhere. Not sure exactly where, or maybe it's something like Punk. It could be something because it's Triple H, so who knows what he's going to do. It could be something like Punk is now in a feud and is getting outnumbered, and he needs help at a tag match, so he uses Paul Heyman to bring in Roman Reigns or something. But I agree, it will be called back. How is just you guys are going to have to keep listening to episodes so you can see where we think it's going to go. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Well, what do you think, Eddie?
I mean, I don't know, man. I'm with you guys. I think honestly, it's a throwaway. I think we mentioned it, but if too much time passes, I think we're just gonna kind of forget about it and then be like, oh, no, well, you know what I mean?
That happened.
Well, because my thing was, I thought the favor leads him to the main event to WrestleMania because that's what he's been complaining about. Not complaining, but like talking about the last, since the Rumble. So the last couple of months. So that doesn't seem to be the case, unless the favor somehow inserts him into the Cody Cena match and he's the favorite. You know what I mean? Which at that point doesn't make sense. I don't know how that would play out. So I think we're just gonna, like pretend it happened, like kind of like the Mark Henry and what was her name with the hand?
Oh, the rest of the hand.
Yeah, kind of like that. It's like we're just gonna forget that ever happened. I think it's one of those.
Man, watch your ass to bring out
Sexual chocolate, Mark Henry.
So yeah, man. But
has sex with an 89-year-old. What?
Yeah. Oh man. But well, listen, Rich, this has been fun. Thank you so much for taking the time to join
Rich,
us.
wholeheartedly, we've eaten up a bunch of your time, especially on a Sunday night. But thank you very much, man. It's always great to do this with Eddie as always, but it's always fun to have another perspective, another point of view, and another knowledgeable fan, which is great. And to other listeners and other people out there who we know, we'll have opportunities for people to come on and have these conversations. And Rich, thank you, and hopefully we can have you back to do it again because this was fun, and I hope it was good for you.
Yeah, Rich,
as awkward as that sounds.
You are basically the 4 horsewomen of NXT. You opened the door to fans coming onto the show and having these conversations with us. So you should feel pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, but no, I gotta thank you guys for allowing me to do this, and join you guys. This was pretty cool. This was a lot of fun, and hopefully, we can do it down the line.
Yeah, hey man, sure. Eddie and I are always down for to talk a little bit less if we can, so an extra, and like I said, extra knowledgeable body is absolutely fantastic, man. But honestly, can't thank you enough. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing and telling anybody if you have like once again, and to everyone again. Thank you to all our listeners and people who keep coming back and talking to us and asking us questions. And Eddie's opened up we have the Instagram now. We're gonna start doing more on social media. I'm gonna maybe set up an X account, Twitter, we call it Twitter here.
That's right.
Stuff like that. So we're plugging along, ladies and gentlemen. We're hoping that you're gonna join us on this fun ride and getting on the ground floor like Rich has. 2 months, 8 episodes. My man's been here. It's a diehard. This is
a day one.
P4L original right there.
All right. Well, Richard, thank you so much again, and we'll definitely look forward to having you back on the show. and maybe go into some deeper topics. Maybe some historical topics, some WCW stuff, some ECW stuff.
Some countdown episodes. We're due for another list episode. So
yeah,
and hey, if there's anything in particular maybe you want to talk about, let us know as soon as we get off. We can hammer that together.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate that, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for.
Thanks again, Rich. Appreciate you, brother.
Anytime.
All right, take care, brother.
Thanks.
All right. That was fun. Yeah, that was cool,
great,
man.
That was great. That was wonderful. Thanks to Rich for being there and helping us out, man. It's nice to have another perspective, and it's nice to have someone who listens to us and actually cares and engages. It's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. Now he reached out through the Instagram account. He was like, "Oh man, whenever you guys are available, I would love to get my thoughts on certain things." And I was like, "Yeah, man, what do you have in mind?" And he's like, "Well, are you guys going to talk about the chamber? There's so much that happened in the chamber." And I was like, "Actually, yeah, we could. Let's make it happen, man.
Yeah, let's go." Yeah. So, I mean, if anyone takes anything away from that, go to the Instagram page. Yeah. Feel free to hit us up on the gram. Like I said, we're going to start doing some social media stuff and opening accounts, stuff like that, because, I mean, that's where we are nowadays in the world, right? So,
slowly but surely, we're building things out.
That's it.
Thank you for everyone for coming along the ride with us, for sure.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. And on behalf of Eddie and myself, take care of yourselves, be safe, and we will see you when we see you.
Oh, you didn't even let me say. You know what to do, man. That's like our thing, bro. Okay, people.
I figured you wanted the night off.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I guess I was so devastated from the Cena heel turn that you're like,
I had to do the heavy lifting. Man. You need a break. You need a break.
All right. Well, on that note, we'll see you when we see you. Take care, everybody.
Later, everybody. Thank y'all.